Alright, what's up everybody? This is part two of me talking about my trip. So we ended off at Nepal. So I arrived in Nepal in the capital city of Kathmandu, and I met some other travelers there who told me to go to this park called Annapurna Park. So I set up plans to take uh, a bus from Kathmandu to Pokhara, which is the city that you need to go to get to uh, Annapurna Park. Annapurna Park is the base of. Here's my brother. He's laughing at me because I'm doing this video. But whatever. He told me to take down the other one because he said I looked stoned in it. I just had one beer. He's just being ridiculous. What? What? Yeah, Graham. 1 second. All right. Okay. So I got to the city Pokhara, which was the base of, which was close to the entrance of the park. This park was the base of this mountain called Annapurna, which is the seventh tallest mountain in the world. I believe it's 28,000 feet tall. But anyway, I get to Pokhara. It's pretty much feels like Aspen. I've never been to Aspen, Colorado, but I feel like it's a rich ski town kind of feel or something like that. So I the next day after I spend the night in Pokhara, I take uh, a bus to the entrance of the park and get to the park. Give my permit to the guards there. They let me in, and I begin my hike up to the mountain in the park. On the way up the mountain, I meet this Japanese dude. We hang out for like 3, 4 days, and yeah, we're just hanging out. We stop in this village. This park is pretty much a bunch of like villages that cater to tourists, and you just spend the night in these little villages. And yeah, so I spent the night in the first village. We map out where we want to go. He tells me of this place called Poon Hill, where it's a hill where you can have a really nice view of the really tall mountains, uh, Annapurna Mountain and a few other mountains that are all above 28,000 feet. So we make our trek there, and then I go up there. It's a pretty cool view for like 5 minutes, and then you're like, okay, been there, done that, and you want to go back down. There's a lot of other people doing this as well. Um, but this hill was about 3,000 meters tall, so about 1,500 feet. No, 15,000 feet high. But it looked like a baby mountain compared to these huge mountains of the Himalayas. Um, but yeah, me and the Japanese dude split off after that, and I wanted to go to the top of. I want to go to the base camp of Annapurna. So I make my way there, and on the way there, uh, I meet this chick and she tells me there's these hot springs, uh, are these natural hot springs with that just bubble up from the they mix with the water coming down from the mountain and heat coming from the center of the earth because uh, the Himalayas are on a fault line, so heat from the center of the earth comes up, mixes with the water, and these natural forming hot springs occur. And she tells me, "Oh yeah, I'm going there tonight," and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds pretty dope. I'm gonna go. I'll go there too." But I'm much faster than her, so I uh, I lead the way, and she falls way behind, and I lose her. And so it takes me 8 hours to hike. I was hiking for about 10 hours, maybe about 10 hours that day, um, because you only hike about you only hike about 6 hours a day because the terrain is pretty rugged, especially carrying all your gear. And so I get to the hot springs, go down there, and just chill there. I mean, it wasn't that hot. It was okay. It was like a lukewarm bubble bath. Um, but yeah, once I finished with the hot springs, I go back to the village and I meet the girl there, and she's like, "Oh, did you go to the hot springs?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she asked me how they're. I was like, "They're all right." She's like, "Oh man, I wish I went there too." And she tells me she's going there at night, and I'm like, "All right, I'll go back again, uh, see what happens." So we go down there again. Uh, some raunchy shit happens. I am not gonna go into it. But anyway, get back and go back to bed that night. Uh, and then I make my way towards base camp of Annapurna. And I have very little clothes. I'm definitely not prepared for this. Um, people, when I was climbing up to base camp, people were telling me there was some really bad storms, um, and some people died or uh, got lost in the mountains, and some people died from altitude sickness. But I'm like, whatever. I'm a young dude. I can handle it. Um, so I make my way up, and it starts raining, and I have no rain jacket, and it's just like, dude, this sucks. I don't want to do this. It's too cold. I'm getting too tired climbing this shit, and I'm just like, I'm going back. So yeah, that was I went all the way back home, and I was like, all right, that was my trip in the park. I was gonna meet my brother in Kathmandu, uh, because he made his way through India already, and we decided to meet back up in Kathmandu in Nepal. So yeah, I'll leave that story for another day when I meet up with my brother. I'll probably tell it tomorrow. But yeah, that was my trip in Annapurna Park. Peace out, guys.